Good evening and welcome to the Simply Colorful FiberCast. Today's date is September 15th, 2017. My name is Lynn and I'm your host, and welcome to another night of sewing. I'm a little rusty still. I'm so glad you could join me. FiberCast is a way for us to get together and sew for 60 minutes, and we have a lot to do, so let's get started. I'm glad you're with me. Grab a project. Hopefully, or maybe you're working on the mystery quilt. Today is clue number 2 of the Color Wheel Quilts mystery quilt that is called Scrappy Square Dance. And I can't wait to do it. So let's jump right in. What we're going to do today is we're going to do the Scrappy Square Dance mystery quilt. I'm going to talk to you about the quilt top behind me. I'm playing with a new class idea. We're going to talk about the New England Quilt Museum. We're going to talk about the machine quilting division of Simply Colorful. I hope you laughed when you read that, as I did when I wrote it. The machine quilting division is right here. There's only one person who's also in the FiberCast division. So we do it all. It's like that commercial where you just wear different hats. Anyway, I'm so glad you're here with me. I'm glad it's Friday and we are off to the races with our mystery quilt. So if anyone might remember, and thank you all for everyone who joined and sent emails from last week. I apologize if people couldn't hear me. So I'm going to endeavor to speak up and enunciate and look at you more so that you can hear me. The Color Wheel Quilts is a company here in town run by Jean and Kelsey, and they have graciously written 6 clues for us. I have no idea what we're making, so I'm here in the dark with you, and I'm having a ball. I love not knowing. To get this is all free, and it's all on the simplycolorful.com, or it's on our Facebook page, or it's on their Facebook page. It's wherever you want to find it, the quilt along. So the cutting instructions for the 60 by 60 inch quilt, we had that ready for last week. And I didn't show everyone, so mine is blue with white, Kona white, and my accent is this batik. So I'm mixing batiks with others. That is a gold accent. Last week for step 1, we sewed 4 patches and we made 26 of them. And these are my 26. So I wanted you to see that I did in fact finish them, and they're all there. So thanks to Karen, Kelsey, and Jean for helping me do 26 4 patches. And I hope everyone was laughing when we were making fun of Jean with her counting. The fact that why we were giving her such a hard time is she's actually meticulous. She researches everything over and deeply and succinctly, and it was just such a surprise so that's why we were giving her a hard time. Anyway, I just wanted to make that clear. So I have every sense that this is going to be a wonderful quilt. So don't you worry about that. Step 2, today's step 2. We don't need these 2.5 inch by 4.5 inch, so I'm going to put those back in there. We don't need for the binding, what I think are the binding, but leftover scraps. We don't need our whites. What we need are our 50 accent 2.5 inch by 2.5 inch squares, and then 50 of these blues, and I'm not going to count out 50. I'm just going to assume that I have 50 here, and that will work. And all this clue is, I say that, I even have other things to do if we finish this in less than an hour, because I'm sure it's not going to take an hour to do this. Right, KB? So first we put 1 scrap piece and 1 accent piece together, and we draw a diagonal, and then we sew 1/4 inch from the diagonal. And we're going to end up making half square triangles that ultimately measure 2.5 inches unsewn. And this is how I do it. So I draw, there are all sorts of ways. So I've drawn on with a pencil there, and I figure I'll do a number of these, and then I'll sew some. So that's going to be my plan. And seriously, I talked to my sister. Hi, KB, if you're out there. I talked to her ahead of time, and she seemed to think she would finish it quite quickly. I bet she's still working on hers too. We're big talkers. And Kelsey and Jean, if you're out there, hi. Thanks for joining us last week. So you see what I'm doing here? And KB, too. Thanks for driving all the way from Pennsylvania to come be with me last weekend. It was really a nice treat. And Bob and I had a good week this week. He's doing projects around the house and getting stronger every day. We went over, I don't know if I told everyone this, but the week before Bob fell, I probably did tell you this. He bought a fixer-upper, a little house a few towns over. And he'd been working on it for months, right? And so he closed on it July 7th. Well, I just discovered today that in those 7 days, he fell on July 14th. On those 7 days, that man got so much done on that house, including he took half the roof off, rebuilt the edging of it, the rafters. He had to extend the rafters so the water didn't go down into the side of the house. It went off the house in 7 days. And he cleaned it out and he filled up dumpsters and yada, yada, yada. Well, today we went over to the sewer department to try to find out how to hook in this house's cesspool, basically in Massachusetts. Before we can resell it, we have to get it ready for, we have to either hook it into a sewer or put in a new septic system. And they have sewer running down the street. Well, do you think this town can find any record of where there's a stub or a tie-in for the sewer for that piece of property? We went to the building department. That's where I saw Bob's building permit and saw that he had just pulled it on the 7th. We went to the Board of Health. We went to the sewer department, went to the water department. No one has it. So right now the plan is to hire an excavator, or actually Bob, of course, because that's my Bob, said he'll get out there with a shovel and he'll start digging in the not the driveway, what is that? The sidewalk. So that was today. And we're just trying to take things in stride. He's been doing his therapy and that's been that. Other than that, it has here in New England, it's very muggy today. See, this is going to take me all hour, I bet you. And Jean and Kelsey, I bet you're laughing. Then I don't want to forget Chris in case you're playing that drinking game. So Chris, if you're out there, hi. I'm sorry I didn't talk to you at the Quilt Guild meeting. Well, that's right. Since I've seen you last, I've had quite my fill, a good fill of quilt meetings, and I should tell you about them. So I'm just going to do these in groups of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I got voted in as president of the Textile Tarts. So any Textile Tarts that are out there, thank you very much for the vote of confidence. I look forward to having a very creative and fun year together. We've already put together a packet, thanks to Pat, to hand out to all doll makers who enter in the Big E Fair. And we're inviting them to become a part of Textile Tarts. So if anyone's out there and you've ever wanted to make dolls and want to know what it's all about, or maybe you've made a doll or two and you're interested in learning more about armature or sculpting or hair or shoes or just different materials, Textile Tarts, we would love to have you join us. We meet over in the Northborough Library the second Saturday of every month. So, okay, whoops, there's my first 10. I guess I'll start my second 10. And then I'll sew. So that was Saturday. And then the second Tuesday of every month, we have Marathon Quilters Guild meetings. And that started up for the season. Colleen, if you're out there, thank you for presenting the programs. Both Jean and Kelsey, they're very busy. They put together the program with Colleen, and we have an exciting year, including, and I wanted to reiterate this, Tim Natar is coming to teach us in October. I want to tell you the exact date because for anyone around the Hopkinton area, if you've ever wanted to take a class with her, I know as of this morning there are a seat or two left, and we would love to have you. So I want to say Tim Natar, Timnatarr workshop. We're going to make a Cape Cod map. And I went onto her website to find, she does amazing things with color. I've seen several of these quilts in person when we went out to Amherst, and they really are remarkable. So here are just a few, and maybe I can zoom in. Look at how she plays with color. This one is just eggs. It doesn't do it justice here on the screen. That is a stunning quilt. Look at all the different values she plays with. And what she's going to come teach us is how to make this, it looks abstract, and I don't know how it's going to turn out, but a map. And we're going to make a map of Cape Cod. So if anyone's out there and you would like to learn how to do this, right here, and I don't know if this is true for members of the Guild, the cost of this workshop is only $25 plus a $5 material fee. So that's $30 total with an award-winning, nationally known quilter. So Tim Natar, and the date, October 21st. So if anyone's around Hopkinton, Massachusetts and is interested in that, send me an email to lmarquidant@gmail.com. So it's L, the first letter of my name, Marquidant, this is my last name, @gmail.com. And by the way, now that you have my email address, send me pictures of what you're working on. For anyone who might be new, FiberCast is a way for us to connect and make fiber art together. It's not really training. It's not really, I was thinking it's not really entertainment. It's not really much of anything other than people who like to sew and like fabric and like to do things with their hands and want to unwind after a week of presumably work or doing different things. We love to get together and do this. That's about all it is, but it's a great all it is. We're in our 4th year, and really what it's taught me is it really is amazing what you can get done when you put your mind to it, whether it's 60 minutes or a whole day or a whole week or a month. And I tell you, having something like sewing or a hobby or anything that you can focus on like you do sewing can help you get through the worst of things. And I can tell you that from experience. I am glad I have it to occupy my mind sometimes. Okay, I'm going to start sewing in a minute. I have my Aurifil thread. I love my Aurifil thread. 6. We do 4 more here. I'm curious how many of you do this drawing step, or who has a laser on their machine and you don't have to do the drawing step. If you have a laser on your machine, I'm envious. Okay. Oh, I can hear all the peepers outside. Oh, and right before FiberCast, I went over to Joann Fabrics. I know, Mom. I know you're really surprised. And I had with me a 60% off coupon that was burning a hole in my pocket. And I thought I might buy some of the cuddly and fluffy material that works so well on the back of a throw. And that was on sale for 30%, so I couldn't use my coupon. I didn't buy a thing. I'm getting better at this. Okay. So After this one, we'll have 20. Okay. You know what? I'm going to do 5 more. And because then we'll be halfway there. We can see this okay. Here. Oh, another thing we're doing at Marathon Quilters is we're working on a raffle quilt at the end of September. I love this. September 30th. And Kathy Rossini is coming to clean our machines. Isn't that wonderful? It's such a win-win. She gets to come to one place and work on a lot of machines all at once. And then all of us get to not leave our machines for days at a time. It's a huge thing. 3, 4, 5. 2 more, and then we'll sew. And when I sew this, I'm going to do one and test it and make sure it's big enough. I'm going to sew like 1 thread over from the drawing line, if that makes sense, so that when the top folds over, I still have enough fabric to make the square be 2.5 inches. Okay, 25 are marked and ready to go. So here's now, let's go over here. Ooh, it's hot here. Okay. Turn her on. Okay, I reduced my stitch size to about 2. Aha, I need scissors. Okay, 1 second. Don't go anywhere. I have 2 pair here. 1 should work at least. Okay. So there's that. I have this turned on. I'm going to set the seam. And then the instructions say which way to press this, which I love. Press toward the scrap fabric, and units should measure 2.5 inch square. Okay, there's my square. 2.5. Yep, by 2.5. 1 down, 49 to go. KB, are you done? 1. Okay, now I'm going to flag piece because I have proven the model. And see, so you just feed this through. And like I say, I'm sewing just a thread's width to the right of my line. Who's done this and run out of thread after like the first one, second one? I have. So check periodically and make sure you still have thread. That can be a bummer. Feeding through a whole bunch of flags and then boom. I wonder if our friend Sarah Kokanowski is out there. She is our friend who is driving across northern United States to go pick up her brand new camper in Chilliwack. And she is blogging about her adventures, which are so fun. She's been to Niagara Falls this week. She's been to Mackinac Island and learned all sorts of things that she's sharing with us. If you want to read about her escapes, go to wildthingescapes.com. And again, it's Sarah Kokanowski. She's living the dream, folks. And why not? Once I finish sewing these 25, I'm going to see who's out there. So if you're out there, send me an email to lmarquidant@gmail.com. And I'll look for you on the big iPad so I can share the pictures this time. Oh, and Sherry, thank you for sending your pictures and posting them. And Leah, your doozy of a mystery quilt, the brown bag mystery quilt, is beautiful. And I would love the opportunity to quilt that for you. Okay, 4 more. Ooh, that buckled. What's going on there? Did you see what that did? It bunched up. Okay. I was able to stretch it out. Something happened with the tension. Okay, 2 more, and then I will check. There and here. Okay, let's see who's out there. Again, lmarquidant@gmail.com. Send me a note and show me what you're working on so I can show everyone else here. It's checking for mail. It's really humid up around here. We've been watching that hurricane, or the forecasters are. Jose is coming up. Hey, hey, hi, Deb. Deb says, I'm looking forward to sewing with you and Carol tomorrow. Yes, me too. Can't wait to see you. She says, I broke down and bought a jelly roll, just not happy with the scrap choices. I'll be starting with cutting and hope to finish with Clue 2. That sounds great. I can't wait to see your jelly roll. Speaking of which, your quilts are done. Maybe this is a good time to talk about the quilting division of Simply Colorful. I am open for business. So if anyone out there has a quilt that they would like me to quilt, knowing that I am a bit of a beginner, I'd love to have at it. And I can share with you my prices, some examples. And in fact, I wanted to show I have 4 of these ready to be picked up. This is Karen's, her row by row. I know you really can't see it. I did hearts and swirls again. Put this down on the floor. Deb, your row by row is ready, and it has apples that have been quilted on it. Sue out there, I know you're going to pick this up Monday. Your raffle quilt is done. Love this. I love the yellows around it. It's very vintagey. I love it. And then finally, KB, your Cafe jelly roll with a twist, which is what reminded me when Deb said jelly roll. This one's ready for you too. So again, Leah, I'm on the lookout for yours, and Sandra, and everyone else. Please send me an email if you have a quilt you'd like me to do. Okay, so enough about that. Carol, hi Carol. Carol Bell over in Yorkshire. She says, hello, Lynn and FiberCasters. This week I've been working on the On Point quilt and have got quite a bit done. The blocks were fairly easy and quick to make, but once I started to put the top together, things slowed down quite a bit. But with some YouTube watching, pattern reading, and then rereading, and a lot of double and triple checking, I have just gotten under half the top put together. Oh, I see what you mean. You know what? It looks stunning, but I bet that is quite the puzzle. Can everyone see that? The square within the square within the square. Oh, Carol, you are prolific. I love all the work you do. She says, I've been busy today, so have only just started on Clue 2. Those shown on the pictures is all that I have got done. I may have to finish them on Saturday afternoon. Well, yes. You may be. Oh, neat. Look at you. We're doing similar colors. I love that. Look at that. Well, Carol, if you're not asleep yet, sleep tight, and thanks for joining us. I love your work, and have a great Saturday. Sandra, hello, Sandra. She says, yay, FiberCast. Sandra says, from hot and humid Mississippi, I might add. Sandra, it's hot and humid up here, too. Vibrant, having trouble deciding on my accent fabric. May just do various solids as I have a couple of sets of them. That's a good idea. Tone it down, or even a white or a black. I like that idea. She says, I didn't cut everything at first as I'm bad about changing my mind. LOL. Me too. Do you remember the first mystery quilt we did, the daffodils and crocus mystery quilt? I will never forget that as long as I live. I was cutting, if you'll recall, I think this is right, the cutting instructions weren't all at the front of the quilt. I did them each week. So I would change my mind on what we would be cutting and what we would be sewing every week. And I was making the quilt only 1 week ahead of all of us on the mystery. It caused me more heart palpitations thinking about how I would get from here to there, because every time I would change my mind, and then I only had so many weeks left, and then I had less weeks left and less weeks left. So I hear you. That's a good strategy. Anywho, she says, just doing Scrappy for my stash. My first husband had 2 open heart surgeries plus cancer of esophagus surgery, drastic, and my handwork helped me keep my sanity. Wow. Oh, Sandra, that makes me feel better. Thank you for your care package, by the way. I really appreciated it. Okay. She says, have a great weekend. Hugs from Sandra in hot and humid Mississippi. Hang on, everyone. Hello, are you back? Hi, everyone. I'm sorry if we lost you for a minute. It looked like maybe it cut out. Okay. Who else is out there? Diane, Dash's grandma. I hope you don't mind me saying that. She says, hello, so glad to hear that Bob is up and moving well. Here are a few things besides the mystery quilt that I am working on. And Diane from California says, have a beautiful weekend. Oh, look at this. Oh, I love this. I'm so glad you resent this because I meant to show this last week and I ran out of time. Look at that. That's so creative. It's little packages. Oh, that's right. And a turkey runner. Look at the runner down below. Isn't that something? How is your dad doing? Is he still quilting away, Diane? Carol. Hello, Carol. Carol says, hi, Lynn and fellow FiberCasters. TGIF, she says. Hope everyone is doing well. She says, I am cutting fabric tonight for a log cabin quilt. Ooh, fun. Hope I have enough fabric for this creation. Happy sewing, Carol O. Well, Carol O, I have a tip for you. Deb, who we're also going to be sewing with tomorrow, had a lot of strips of fabric that she brought over here, and it's right over there behind that door. So tomorrow you can dig through it and find some more fabric. Okay. Wendy. Hello, Wendy down under. She says, hi, Lynn and everyone. It was so good to see you back on the big screen. Oh, boy. I'm pretty hot right now. I must be looking I must be glowing. Okay. She says, you looked wonderful last week. Aren't you precious? And it's great to hear all is well in your world again. I hope friends and family of yours didn't get too affected by the hurricane. She says, I can't watch you live again this week as I'm starting to clean and pack the caravan. We are actually going on the trip in a few weeks. I am doing up projects to take along, including my paints and pencils and, of course, sewing machine. Have a great weekend, everyone. Love from Wendy in Australia, and keep smiling, Lynn. Thanks, Wendy. I will. I'm excited to hear about the trip. Is this the big trip where you go along? Tell us. Keep us posted on your trip. And fortunately, the hurricane did not impact anyone directly that I know. Several co-workers were down there, both in Texas as well as in Florida. But from what I know, the story, I'm just not close enough to it. It's horrible. It's horrific from what I can tell, from what the news tells, especially on the Caribbean islands. Although I was happy to see, now, you know, every 3 years, Bob and I in the past had gone to an island for a vacation. And we like to go to St. Martin. Well, St. Martin was very badly hit by Irma. And we actually had plans to go there in December. I don't know if I mentioned that last week. But almost a year ago now, I think, we made plans. And I must admit, I made them way before. We still had Allie, but Allie was our dog, had been ailing for a long time. And I remember thinking, by December of 2017, we are going to need a vacation. Well, how true did that turn out to be? Anyway, all that is to say, I'd been seeing the devastation in St. Martin, where we usually stay. Roofs were torn off, they're closed. Have no idea when they'll start again. Not so much that their property is completely ruined, but they can't even, what they're saying is they can't even get their personnel around the island. They can't move around the island. The streets are closed. It's really bad. We go on the Dutch side, and that's where they are, and they are getting help now. So anyway, I keep putting this off. The whole point of this whole story is that Delta Airlines sent us a note this afternoon and said that, have no fear, your tickets to St. Martin can be changed. So how's that for good relations, good customer relations? I was very pleased. So that might be something we think about this weekend. Okay, so, it's a shame to lose these little triangles. Okay, and now I'm ironing toward the scrappy side. Oh, I made a huge mistake here. Did you all see what I was doing while I was doing it? I shouldn't have cut my flags. I should have ironed before I cut the flags. Oh, it's taking minutes off my finish time. I hope you're laughing. So while I'm doing this, I want to tell you about the quilt behind me. What do you think? It's modern, and it does have gray, Mom, and it's made with 8 fat quarters and 4 regular quarters. And I could even double it. And I think I might to make a twin size. This is really a little bit too small. But what I'm doing is I'm putting together what I hope is a fun quilt to pick out the fabric. Like I went to the fat quarter store, and they have oodles of fat quarter bundles. So what I'm thinking of doing is changing the recipe, if you will, to 12 fat quarters, and then, no, what was I going to do? 16 fat quarters. So it'd be twice the size. 16 fat quarters and 8 regular quarters. So that is 6 yards of fabric, but it's just, think of all the different colors you can pick. And you come to the class, and I would offer a class. You come to the class for the day and you make the quilt top. It's so easy. You can make it in a day. I literally made this in half a day, or maybe a day. And then you leave the quilt top with me. I take it home and quilt it for you, and then send it back or give it back. So I am going to go to the New England Quilt Museum in October and see if any guilds would be interested in that. So if by chance anyone's out there and you have a quilt guild in the Massachusetts area and you are interested in possibly making something like that includes the quilting of the quilt, let me know. I just thought it might be fun around the Christmas time. You could come, have a day of fun. You pick out the colors of the fabric, right? And for X dollars, I show you how to do it. We make the quilt during the day. We have fun, and then you leave it with me, and I quilt it for you. So you're getting the class for free, and I quilt it for you. You're paying for the quilting. That's what I'm thinking. Aren't these pretty? Carol Bell, we match. Carol Bell is in Yorkshire, and she might be sleeping. This is a funny time of year. You know, it's too fall-like to put air conditioning on. But boy, is it hot around here. Here and here. And here. Okay. So that is 24 of them. Here, I'm going to put them in a nice, neat stack. So far, this Scrappy Square Dance mystery quilt is quite easy. Hear that, Jean and Kelsey? So easy. Can't even make fun of it either. I had visions of tossing my arms up to different quilt clues. But so far, I love it. Okay, so there's that. Now we'll just keep going, do another 25. I think I showed you this, sandpaper. That ensures that your fabric stays still when you're drawing a line. Dun, 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 dun. I'm dying to see what happens with this mystery quilt. It's a mystery. What else is going on? So I mentioned the Tim Natar workshop. I really want to make sure anyone who's around here has the opportunity to do that. And Dawn, oh, I know, Dawn Stewart. I wanted to say hi. We missed you at quilting the other night, but we all thought of you. Let me know if you need anything. And everyone on the Marathon Quilters committees are doing outstanding work, from the newsletter to the planning for the quilt show, which is next fall, to polyarts. Oh, that's the other thing. Look for, there's so much going on in the fall, isn't there? We have the Arts Festival up in the center of our town, Polyarts. And the Marathon Quilters are going to have a booth up there. And they have some wonderful items. This is new. Nancy Burdick has been driving this for a year. And she's been having workshops over in the Yellow Barn over in Holliston. And Becky McDonald's, at Becky McDonald's. And I hear they've already sold several of the items. What did I hear? Sports-themed cooking mitts. I think I heard that at one point. And, oh, tree skirts that Color Wheel Quilts has made, actually, with some adorable motifs that are quilted into it. The light bulbs. I love that. Kelsey Ullman at Blueberry Lane Studios did that. I'm hoping my scraps have enough differentiation. A lot of them are repeats. Now's when I start playing the counting game. So I did 25. Maybe I'll do 10 more so then I'll have 35. Does anyone else do that? This is really fun, though. You know what else? When someone else does the mystery, it's not like I can do half of it before we go on the air, right? Although I guess technically now I could, because I'm only working one day a week. But I have to tell you, we spend a lot of time at doctor's appointments and speech therapy and the bank, and who knows where we end up. One of the interesting things, I'm learning so much about the brain, and there's so much, everyone, for years I've heard people say we don't know much about how the brain works, and it really is a remarkable organ, and it really is. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, we're going to do 15. One thing that surprises me is all of a sudden something that I assume Bob remembers, he doesn't at all. And that's a reminder that it must be very hard. I'm not sure he recognizes or is bothered by the fact that he can't remember some things. I'll give you an example. In the other room here, earlier this summer, Bob redid or put in wood floors, and he polyurethaned them, and then he taped some red paper on top of it, you know, that you see at construction sites. And the red paper was to protect the polyurethane of the floors underneath. And he didn't have any of the frog tape or that special tape that's easily comes up, so he used regular masking tape. Yes, what happened was ultimately I pulled up the red paper, we did, and what was left was the tape or residue of that tape. And it's been there for several months, and we've been walking on it, and it's all, I knew it would need goo gone. I knew it was going to be a pain to get up. And sure enough, Bob is down there on his hands and knees, and he's scraping it away. And all of a sudden he says to me, "So did you put this tape down or did I?" And I had to remind him about the pink paper and that he had polyurethane the floor and that we put down the pink paper. I'm not sure if he then remembered it or not. I'm not completely sure if he was joking with me or not, but we just go with it. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. If we do one more, then we will have done 15. $15 plus 25 is 40, and then that will leave 10 left. And can you imagine if there are 10 here? I doubt as such. I always goof up on my counting somewhere. Sewing along. More, and then I'll check and see who's out there. I love that you've joined me. For everyone who's out there, I hope that you're getting a lot done or just sitting back and reading a magazine while you watch or watching another show. All right. Now, I'm not going to make the same mistake, am I? Okay, I'm just going to cut off one side of this. Oh, but I might. Talking to myself. I have to be on the right side of the... No, okay. Just making sure I'm cutting on the right side. I thought seriously about buying another pair of scissors with my 60% off coupon. But Mom and Karen, you'll be glad I was restrained and I didn't. After I cut these, I'll check and see who's out there. Okay. I cut them. Let's see who's out there. Hey. Oh, we have some good. What is this? Uh-oh. Oh, Jean writes, I'm with Molly at a medical appointment, so I'm missing the fun tonight and look forward to catching the replay tomorrow. She says, I'm keeping myself busy binding my second sheet quilt. Loving this. Oh, Jean, this is so cool. This is, and you'll learn about this if you go to the Color Wheel Quilts Facebook page. They have found a supplier of vintage sheets. And what Kelsey and Jean are doing, Jean, I think, is cutting them up and doing the majority of them, although Kelsey's quilting it. They're cutting those sheets up and then resewing them together to get some amazing effects. Well, I hope Molly is fine and happy Saturday. Kelsey says, I got a late start, had to call my dad for our daily 8 p.m. chat. You are so good. She says, but I'm watching now and working on the mystery. Yay. Yay. Leah showed me she got the grays from the Etsy shop, your Etsy shop. So Color Wheel Quilts is offering a 10% off price on some really cool bundles, some low volume bundles that Kelsey does such a nice job on. And actually, I'm not quite sure what is discounted, but there's 10% off discount. Put in the code Simply Colorful, all one word, all caps. Karen Marinelli. Aha, she says, at 8:17 p.m. tonight, a laser on my machine? Question mark. What a great idea. She says, I bet my Bob could rig that up for me. Yeah, I bet he could too. She says, oh, by the way, my sister's married to a Bob, so she calls her Bob my Bob. Or TG, and I call him TG Bob, the great Bob. Anyway, she says, yes, I draw the line unless it's a really small square, then I eyeball it. Clue number 2 is done, plus 50 bonus minis. Oh, stop it. She made bonus minis, you hot ticket. When they're even in piles of 10, you kill me. What are you going to do with your bonus minis? I love that. Oh, KB. Ben, hi, Ben. Cousin Ben. He says, love seeing you back on the air. Thank you. Thanks for all your help and everything you did and being there, as always. And Chris Myers says, oh, no volume, got it. Hello. Chris. There, if you guys are counting, maybe you've caught up. Chris says, I finished up 30 Patriots neck warmers for polyarts. Oh my. I'm doing up a fleece blanket for a 50th party tomorrow. Oh, good for you. So remember polyarts I was talking about a few minutes ago up on the town common? If anyone here is a Patriots fan, go on up there. They're going to have Patriots neck warmers for sale at the Marathon Quilters booth. Sarah Kokanowski, the infamous Wild Thing. She says, hello, baby. I'm watching while I write my evening post. Oh, hello, right back at you. And I'll be looking for your post. wildthingescapes.com. Excellent. Aw, and KB sends a welcome, baby Leah. Oh, baby's here. 9/11/2017 with love and joy, Karen, Alexa, Lee, and Aunt Lynn. Oh, thank you for including me. So when Karen was here last weekend, we quilted their Alaska fish quilt. It's really cool. Alexa made the fish in Alaska. Then she sent it to Karen, and Karen made the ocean. And then we came here, and Karen and I quilted it here on the machine, and we learned a ton. I picked on this particular quilt, I picked them out. I think the issue was that the pattern we picked was way too small. No, I shrunk the pattern down too small to fit on the quilt. And so the machine kind of got choked up trying to put X number of stitches in a little bubble. So it took us quite a few thread breaks, frankly, to get that done. Oh, I'm so glad you're all out there. Hello. This is just making my day. Hey, hey, hey. Linda Griffin, hello. She says, what's under my needle? She says, hi, Lynn, great to see you tonight. I went with 4 quilting friends to Sisters in Oregon. That is on our list. She says, we loved the show. So many beautiful quilts on display. So Kelsey, Chris, KB, Jean, everyone, we have to get out there to Oregon some year. She said, so many quilts. We had a blast shopping at many quilt shops in California, Nevada, and Oregon, collecting their row by rows on the way up and back home. She says, I've been working on a few. They are really cute. Oh, they are. Oh, and I opened this up in the wrong thing. Hang on. I don't know if you can see that car. I'm going to open it up here because it's so much bigger. Oh, I'm so glad you're all out there. What a fun night this has been. Let me just wrap up. Okay, here it comes. Oh, these are cute. Oh, and it looks like you have a Bonnie Hunter underneath there. Can you see those? Look at that. I forget the theme. Is it something like traveling? Glad to follow along with this mystery quilt. Looks very intriguing. Take care, Linda G. from My Quilt Haven. Oh, aren't those fun? Thanks for sharing. And thanks for the tip. We are going to put that on our list. Joyce. Hello, Joyce. Design wall project. Ah, she says, odd to see a modern quilt design on your wall. It's sharp looking. Thank you, Joyce. I must admit, I'm liking it. So we'll see. I'd love to see you pick colors for it, actually. Sue Norton. Hello, Sue. How are you? Oh, at least this time, being in Illinois, you didn't get any of the hurricanes, but winter's coming, isn't it? Anyway, Sue says, so glad you are back. Thank you. She missed me. She says, I'm not working on this mystery. Been trying to keep busy with projects already started. Smart. Sorry to hear about your husband's tumble. Hope he is doing well. Thank you. He is. Here is a Lucy Boston block I'm working on, my new obsession. But don't worry, dear Jane is still in the works. Oh, don't you worry me at all. I want you to do your Lucy so I can catch up on dear Jane. Lucy Boston has your name all over it. Oh my goodness, does it have your name all over it? Look at that. Here, let me see if I can. Oh, you're fussy cutting them. I love your work. Look at that. Oh, Sue, thank you for sharing that. And really, you just keep going on Lucy Boston. Don't you worry about dear Jane. Uh-oh. Why do I know Sue and her competitive spirit, and she will be back. Sarah Kokanowski says, Clue 2 is coming along well. Thank you, Sarah. Leah. Aw. She says, it took me a year to make the brown bag quilt. Let's see. Sewing my squares along with you. Oh, yay. Look at those pretty colors. I like those a lot. So those are the grays that you got from the Color Wheel quilt. And then, oh, I love your turquoise accent color. That's perfect. Okay. I think with that, I have 10 more to do. And what time is it? It's 9:01. It's amazing what we can get done in 60 minutes. I got 40 squares done. Let's see. Oh, no, I didn't. I got 25 done. I got another 15 half done. And I got another 10, hopefully a quarter done. Well, I will have them all done by the time I see you next week when we do clue number 3 of the mystery quilt. Thank you all for joining me. You've made my day. You've made my night. I'm just so glad to be back, and I'm glad you're back. Have a great weekend and have a great week, and I'll see you back here next Friday night. Bye, everyone.